Viewer discretion is advised.
Don't come and complain to me about racism when you don't even respect your fellow Pacific Islander brother and sister. So you ask a whole other race to respect us when we can't even respect each other.
Mandate.
Welcome to Mandate, where we navigate fresh perspectives and nothing is off the table. Tonight's guest is from Tāmaki Makaurau, but originally born in Samoa, lived in Tauranga, also West Okilani as well. So she is a New Zealand actress who is best known for her roles on The Shortland Street. Also, you have Siona's Wedding 1 and 2. You have Unfinished Business, Filthy Rich, and also you have the Power Rangers. Beast Mortha as well. And so she was also a contestant in 2015 on Dancing with the Stars. But even more so recently, she was on the Duck Rockers. She's also a writer and also associate producer on the Duck Rockers as well. So, but she's more than just an actress. She's an amazing wahine toa. She's an amazing mother and with an amazing story to share. Please put your hands together for the lovely Teuila Blakely!
Oh, wow, thank you. Man, you have done your research.
Oh.
The only thing about that Google, I don't know how to change it, but some reporter sometime assumed I was born in Samoa, and then she printed it, and then it's just, they put it in Wikipedia, and then now it gets put out there all the time. And I was actually born in Tauranga, but I was made in Samoa.
Oh, so, hey, that's even better. Hey. Oh, hey, I like that. Made in Samoa. Made in Samoa. Hey,
and whoever's looking after Wikipedia, can you...
You're fired. You're fired. You made me look bad.
Honest mistake.
Oh, no, awesome. But hey, it is a privilege and a pleasure to have you tonight at the table of Teuila. And so we've been waiting for this moment. We're like, we can't wait for Teuila to come. And so obviously in July we kind of try to get a hold of you, and we did. And it's just timing. It's just been perfect timing. We get you here tonight. And so just to get the ball rolling. Obviously, some people may think, Teuila's been under the radar for a while, but obviously you've been doing Duck Rockers. You've been active, but just if you can tell us from your own words, are there any new events or new things that are in the pipelines for you? Any projects that are coming up that maybe you're able to talk about and share with obviously the fans and also the viewers and the listeners and to us? We're interested to hear what's been happening thus far.
Oh, thank you, and of course, thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here, and I'm glad it only took us 6 months to figure it out schedule-wise. But no, it has been a really busy year. It's been a really interesting year industry-wise because obviously we had the United States go on strike. And what a lot of people probably don't know about our industry is we're actually sustained here as local actors because of the international projects that film here. And so a lot of the work that I've been doing outside of New Zealand, I actually do overseas projects but shoot them here. So all of that kind of dissipated during the time of the strike. And then also been an election year, and there was an RNZ, TVNZ merger that fell over at the beginning of the year, which sort of affected things like Duck Rockers going again and other local programs because advertising is down across the board. So it's a really tricky time for our industry. And for myself, I tend to work constantly. And this is the very first year that there weren't a lot of projects going. So on one hand, it was like, wow, usually there's a lot more work than what I have had this year. But at the same time, I have never in over a decade, or actually 2 decades, had the opportunity to have some time to actually work on the projects that I want to work on. So when I got the opportunity to do that, that's what I have dedicated this year to. So I am writing something at the moment that I've been working on for actually quite a number of years, but this is the first year I've had to really, really flesh it out. So that should be, the deadline I'm on now is January, so yeah, almost there.
Man, and so
yeah, that's why I sound tired.
No, we know you're a very busy woman, and so it's quite interesting. It is, I think, because you just shared a little bit of what. Obviously, you can't get into the details and so forth, but you're a very busy woman. Obviously, with Duck Rockers and also the other ventures that you're doing thus far. But in terms of, if we can run it back to the past a little bit, in terms of, because obviously you're not just an actress, you also done radio. C4, I remember watching you in C4 back in the days, freestyle. And so if you can just give some of the viewers and also the listeners who probably, Teuila, so if you can give us a little bit of an insight of prior to the acting and the Duck Rockers and give us a bit of an insight of those days.
Yeah. Well, it's 20 years this year since I did freestyle, so that was a really big milestone for me because freestyle really changed the course of my life at that point. Of course, I had a little boy very young, and what the time was like then for anyone like myself who had a real passion for the arts, because I just had that naturally my entire life, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. But there were literally almost no Pacific Islanders doing things back then. So it was really just people like myself and finding other kindred people who thought, you know what, perhaps it's possible if we all just actually come together, and the goal is to create an industry, to create opportunities for our stories to be told, whether that's via music, whether that's via the stage or the screen, because artists are artists, and I've always been naturally political, and my mum really wanted me to be a lawyer, and I could see that being a really viable path for me, but I had such a passion for art that I actually think you can be really political through art. You can do all those things via art, and so I made a decision a long time ago that is what I wanted to do. It's always been really important to me to represent for Pacific Islanders, especially because I come from a time where we had no representation, where we grew up in a very much more openly racist time, and things were very, very different. So for us to kind of even have these kind of goals in mind, we didn't know if they would be possible, because if you're looking at the landscape then, we're just kids, that come from working class families, and of course, being Pacific Islanders, we're put on the bottom rung of the working class, and even still today. So for kids like us to aspire to do something that wasn't represented already, I don't know if people really took us seriously until we actually started making, headway into these spaces. And that's why I guess 20 years on, I feel really grateful that what we intended to do, and I say we because it was me and a collective, but we were all individuals on the same, sort of path, we have more than achieved what we set out to do. And now all the younger Pacific Islanders who come into the arts, those avenues, those platforms, they're there. They're there now. And so we're like, yeah, well, what do we do from here? What's next? And I feel like that's where I'm at this juncture of my career.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. You must be so proud, because, if we feel like the times we're living in now is a little bit racist, imagine what it was like back then, and for you guys to be spearheads, leading the way, and there's no one really in front of you other than the older ones, and you must look at the journey and be really proud of what you guys have achieved.
Oh, thank you. I am very proud of what we've done. Where I take the personal pride, I think, for myself, is that I was a young teenage mother, and it was really, really tough, and it was really, really difficult. And I think, what I have learnt through that journey, those are the things I'm grateful for. But to bring your point, Charles, I really agree with that. Yes, today we still face issues with racism. To be honest, we're always going to. If you think, we're somehow going to hit this utopia where racism doesn't exist, perhaps we will get there. But if we don't, that can't be your deterrent. That can't be your excuse for why you're not doing what you want to do. In our day, back in my day, our teachers were racist. We could get called the N-word, just walking down the road. People could drive past you and just yell these things at you, so I do say that today, to date, it has never been an easier time to be brown. Yes, it's hard, but are you going to let the fact that it's hard be a deterrent for why you're not doing anything? Because, I think our generation, the way we looked at it is, yes, it was hard for us being the first generation that went to school here. Absolutely. But it wasn't as hard as it was for our parents to come here, and we witnessed this, you know, and so I think having that direct, you know, example of how difficult it was for our parents, and this is what our generations today need to realize, it only gets easier. And if you don't recognize the privilege that you have today, you're not going to make the most of it. If you keep complaining about, oh, I need more privilege, oh my gosh, we all do. We could all do with more privilege. But that can't ever be the reason why you make an excuse for why you can't do anything. Nothing should stop you from doing what you want to do.
Wow, that's so good.
Sorry. I just got a little bit emotional because I'm thinking about my daughter. I'm thinking about these leaders that, you know, you speaking as a leader, as someone that's gone through those tough times, and, you know, the hope for our children is that they would sort of capture the message and really run with it, because they get to stand on shoulders of giants that have, you know, done the hard yards, that pushed through some of these like hard times, and not only that you have to push through like the pressures of society, but not even, you know, being a young mom, and I don't know if it's accurate in terms of, you know, you grew up in a religious home and almost like disowned, and that would have been tough. And so I really commend you, Teuila, and your journey.
Thank
and
you.
I want to. Yeah, I know Pete was going to say so, and we'll come back to it.
You're absolutely right, Charles. It is. You have to admit, and it's in all honesty, Teuila, you guys and a few others, like you talked about the collective, the pioneers of as to why a lot of our young people have this space now. You created a space, the safe space for us, and as hard as it was for you guys, even during that time, our younger generation are privileged to have this space. They can actually walk through these doors now and audition and all that kind of stuff, and have all these roles because of what you guys have done. And so, like Charles was saying, obviously you're a young mother, and I love what you said, because you said don't let these things deter us from achieving our goals. And nowadays, you can, and it'd be good to get your honest opinion in terms of some of our people, not even just our rangatai or our young people, but also our adults. There's maybe a victim mentality. There's something, oh, I can't do this because of that, and we come up with all these excuses as to why we can't do this, because life is bad, all that kind of stuff, or social, economic, all that kind of stuff. But I love the fact, the grit that you have. The grit that I read a lot of the articles, is that the grit that you have, even though you had a son at a young age, but it never, you never wavered. You never wavered. You never said, oh, that's it. And you could have just said, oh, well, because I'm a young mum now, oh, well, too bad. That dream's just put their dream on the back burner. But you said, no, I'm just going to do it with my son, with the obstacles. And this is what you're doing. This is the because you said yes. Look at the opportunities you've created, not only for yourself, but also for other people. And just amazing. It's so amazing. We can sit here all day. We could just stop right now. So we just pucky.
Oh no! Thank you so much. That it really means a lot. Because I think when I do a lot of other interviews, you know, people like, you know, the whole kind of, you know, the drama of how amazing it sounds, but the actuality of it was incredibly tough, and you know. There were many times that I thought, I cannot actually do this. Things were so hard that I just thought, how am I going to actually continue? How am I going to do this? I actually can't. But because I had a little boy that depended on me, you know, there was no other option. You know, that's why I had to have that drive. And it's like, I don't know, I think they attribute this saying to Bob Marley, you know, that it's like, you don't know how tough you are until you are required to be. And that's what I think, you know, life in general, you know, life is hard. And if you're out there waiting for life to get better until you can do something, honestly, you'll be waiting till the day you die, because life is hard. But the thing is, those hard times will give you something you never had before if you walk through it. You know, I mean, again, like, what also drove me at that time was because we came from a very hardcore generation. You know, that generation that came over, you know, our generation, we were beaten. You know, like, we are the generation that got proper hidings, proper, you know, and it's like, and so we were resilient, we were tough, but our parents made us tough, and they worked so hard, and we know that we had it easier than them, and all we had to do was work as hard as they did, go further. All the generation after us needs to do is work as hard as we did and go further and keep going. That's the whole point, is that every generation must continue, and that's what I say, continue peddling the va'a, because this is what our people have always done. And we are never going to stop, although now, we're not actually in the canoes. Now we're, in Hollywood and places like that, as we should be, because it's the continuation of the journey. And that's all any of us need to do. But we can't ever, let our hardships, those hardships that our communities face, we have always faced. We have always faced it, but we have not always had the kind of resources, the kind of support, the kind of respect that you can even command as a brown person today. And that's what I really want to tell our young generation out there. It's like, yes, there's racist, rah, rah, rah. Yeah, of course. Who cares? Tell me something that really matters.
So cool. That's so cool. Tell her like it is.
Yeah, preach.
Oh my goodness.
So, I'm just thinking about those tough times, and sorry to take you back there, but like, what were some of the tools or things that really, other than the drive of your son, was there a community that really supported you, or was it just all self like?
Initially, it was all self, especially, it's an interesting thing when you are in a position in life where everyone looks down on you. So as a young, brown, teenage woman, there's not many lower rungs than that in society, especially in the 90s. It was a very big thing then. So it was a very isolating experience. And people don't help you, people don't, because they kind of, just write you off. Oh yeah, you're down there now. Talking about, everybody, lots of people. And then I found a group of sisters, and I feel emotional. And that was it. I can't believe, when I came to come on this, Oscar said to me, all I see is like all our friends go on it and they're crying. And I was like this, I'm not going to cry. It's like, because they were the reason I get emotional is because a lot of people didn't support me in what I wanted to do. A lot of people turned their back on me at a time that I really could have done with support. I had a child, I was young. And so when I met this group of girlfriends, they believed in me, they loved me. Oh yes, there's some tissues. And they are still my strongest support today, and they are still my best friends today, So I really feel they were sent to me. I'm very blessed, because it was at a time where, far out, I don't know if I could have gone on much further alone.
So awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for. Sorry, that's not our intention for all your friends to come on and have a kangi. Sorry. Oscar, we still want you to come on. We're not going to make you cry.
Sorry, Teuila, we didn't bring that.
But I think, thank you for showing that vulnerability too, because just what our people need to see, like just our authentic selves, and
totally.
And if they see, our celebs, as normal as us, humanizing that they got emotion too. Like you guys are human as well, and sometimes we put all our celebs, our leaders, on this pedestal. Like, oh man, they've got it so easy. Look at that life that they've created, but they don't know the struggle that you guys had to go through just to get to the position that you are. So yeah, again, well, we're gonna just spend the whole podcast just honoring you and thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But gentlemen, that's why what they say, it's not the destination, it's the journey. I would not be the woman today had I not been through the journey that I've been through. And I know what every step took. I went through every step. And I think a lot of people do tend to look at me now and they think I've always been like this. But, like I said, when I was a 17-year-old, single mum from West Auckland, nobody even looked at me. Nobody even took me seriously. And then today they're, oh, look, she's so privileged. It's like, no, what I know for sure, what no one will ever be able to take away from me is that I have worked for everything I have. I have earned everything that I have and sacrificed and suffered, and it has not been hard. But at the same time, it has also been amazing. It is, and it has just taught me so much about life, about people, and forgiveness and love and unconditional love. Because I think when you go through the things, well, look, you can go two ways. Everyone has the opportunity to do this. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond, And I think because I came from a religious background, because my mum was so tough on me, bless her, bless my mum. Yes, she was hard on me. Yes, all the thing happened when I initially had my son. But it was also because she was that woman to me that I was the woman that could cope with that.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Wow. I love it because the resilience, all these hardships and these experiences builds the resilience. And I love what you said, it's the hard work. You can't escape hard work. And I think a lot of people in the generation and probably generations before kind of see, it's kind of easy. I can be famous as well. I can just do this and just rock up and just audition and just do whatever I need to do. But they don't realize the hard work, and people don't see that. Obviously, people see the end product. Oh yeah, well, she's on TV, must be easy. But it's the hard work. And so in terms of nowadays, some of our younger generation, in terms of resilience, what do you think is the difference? Because I know there's other factors that kind of play a role in terms of why people can't do this and that, or say they can't do this and that, and have all these excuses, and some atrocious events and experiences and trauma that people have experienced. But in terms of resilience, what do you see? How do you see the resilience in this day and age in terms of our young people, even some of our adults? What is your view? What are your thoughts in terms of resilience in this day and age?
This is a very good question that I actually do ask myself. That actually my girlfriends and I sit around and we look at our children. Far out. Because as I alluded to before, we learned because we got hidings. Like brutal hidings. And so we're like this, how do you teach our kids those things without giving them money?
Would you get the 2x4
that generation was brutal.
Yeah.
There's just no even conveying it unless you beat your kids up and go, that's how I was beaten up, and they'll be like, oh wow. But I mean, okay, no, we do not want to be doing this. Out there. This is not,
Brad, can you just edit that part and say, let's give our kids a hand?
But I do believe in discipline. I do believe in hard work, and this is why. Because I think the only way to teach discipline is to be disciplined. That's how you learn discipline. And if you're not disciplining your children, I truly don't know how they learn that discipline, and hard work. I just cannot, oh my gosh. My mum raised us like we were servants. In our generation, if you get asked to do something, it's too late. You will get a hiding because did you not just see what needed to be done?
Use your initiative.
Now we're like, if you do the chores, I'll give you $5.
Right. So, you learn. And our mum, we literally had to clean the house to such a degree that we had to do the skirting boards, we had to wash the walls, the ceiling. My brothers had to go out and wash the outside of the house. It's like she drove us. And that's where I get my drive from. So if you've got kids out there, what I would say, sorry, but make them work hard. Whether it's just tidying the house, but I mean, really make them tidy the house. Not just, it's like, because that will be such a great, it just advantage to give them, because I promise you, it's, even like The Rock says, be the hardest worker in the room. How are you going to learn to work hard if you've never been made to work hard? you know, and that's why I say, okay, we're not going to beat our children up anymore. We have moved on. But that doesn't mean we can't discipline them. That doesn't mean we can't be strict on them. You know, it'll benefit them so much as adults, even as young people.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know, I look at our generation versus our younger generation, because a lot of us, the way we were raised, for us, it was a bit of trauma.
Oh,
and
of
so
course.
it's like, I am never going to be like that to my kids. So for some parents, I can't judge everyone else. I can't speak for everyone else, but it's like we sort of shelter them. It's like we've done everything for them, and so they can enjoy life. But the outcome of that is like, or the flip side is that, man, they haven't built any resilience. It's like they're a bit privileged in some of what they get to get. But man, I'm gonna go home again. No more pocket money for you. You're gonna get what I got.
Yeah, just close the curtains, close the curtains, close the curtains.
So we listen to
I totally understand that, because absolutely we are traumatized. We are traumatized from you know, being beaten and all those things, and not having, you know, parents that we could talk to. So yes, absolutely, we have changed with our children, but it's important, you know, that we don't go too far the other way, and that's what I think it is finding the balance, you know, because at the end of the day, the best way we can love our children is to give them the tools to look after themselves if we're not here.
Yeah.
You know, because how long are we going to be here to look after them? We're not going. We can't guarantee that. You know, we have to know that our children would be okay without us, and the only way to do that is to teach them how to be independent, how to be hardworking, and you know, and disciplined for themselves. Yes, it's a gift. It's a gift.
Well said.
So good.
In terms of, even go back to, obviously with men, obviously you had a son, he's a young boy, now he's a man now. In terms of, because the whole premise around Mandate is just kind of to encourage and inspire men to be better, to be purpose driven and walk worthy of whatever calling they have. In terms of you as a solo mom, raising up a young boy, and so how was it for you in terms of finding or navigating in terms of how do I raise up this boy in this day and age, and where are the role models, who are the people that this boy can glean from and learn from to be not only just a good citizen but also a good person.
Absolutely.
So how did you manage that and juggle all of that as a mom?
Yes. Well, I tell you what, and all single mothers will understand this and hear me. It's very difficult to raise a male without a male. I'm very, very much of the idea, and this is just myself. If you're out there and you disagree, that's all right. I believe it takes a man to teach a man how to a boy how to be a man. I can't teach my son how to be a man because I'm not a man. I can nurture him as a mother. That's my role. But with single mothers, we have to take on all the roles, and that's where it gets really difficult, because not only do we have to do the nurturing, because that is what a mother's role is to be the nurturer. And yes, I am very traditional, and it is the male's responsibility to provide so that the mother can nurture the child until a point where, the child's old enough and independent enough, and things can change at that point. But I really do believe in that, because I believe that the nurturing of the child is the mother's job. The provision for the family is the male's job. We need strong men to lead our families. That's our tradition as well as Pacific Islanders, as Polynesians. Or even my dad's Balingi, even in Balingi families, and I don't want to say that as like, that puts women, down and makes men, more. No, just we need to fulfill the roles that are naturally conducive to raising a successful child. That's all it is. We are equal, but we are different. So I was always very, very aware of the fact that my son had a mum doing all the roles, and that's not the best example, because I wanted him to grow up to be a strong man. He is a good man. And so I have to look at, my dad was there, and so he had this amazing role model with my dad, and now him and his dad also have a very wonderful, loving, strong relationship. And that's why I always, no matter what, left the door open. And this is what I want to say to single mothers out there as well. Never, 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 no matter what. And I don't care what it is, truly. Unless it's criminal, unless the father is abusive, you cannot keep a father from the children. You just cannot. It doesn't do you any favors. It certainly doesn't do your child any favors. And so for me, I always left that door open. He's only ever going to have one father. I never wanted anyone else to be that role for him because he had a father. You come and be the father to the son.
Wow.
Was that tough to sort of, I guess, to move forward with if
Of course.
you're leaving that door open? And I don't know the history, but some you might have like fallen apart and might hate on each other, but like there's a lot of good co-parenting out there where they've had to reconcile because of the benefit of the child.
Of course. Yeah. See, the thing is, you have to get over yourself, because, and what I know that a lot of women, and I understand, I mean, I never did, but, I'm different. You have to separate what your relationship is from what their relationship is. Okay, they might have cheated on you, they might have treated you terribly, they might whatever, that's fine. But if they love their child and they want to be there for your child, then they have the right to, and you as a parent should actually encourage that. You should actually encourage that and deal with what you have to deal with. Whether you deal with it with him privately or even just on your own. Because that's the other thing too. I feel like we convince ourselves we're so weak when actually we can handle anything we're given. Like, that's the rule. As long as you just stand up, you rise to the occasion, rise to the challenge. We don't plan how our lives are going to go. But if your life happens this way, well, just handle it. Just handle it. And it's not until you do better that you can be better.
So many James. And I love how you talked about, because, what you've shared already, it's not it's not normal now. Like, people get cancelled for saying what you say, like, in terms of the nurturing and like different roles, but it doesn't make you any less of a woman. You're still the strong one, knowing that, like, for your son, he needs this nurturing, but then he also needs this model of like who to turn to when he goes through his adolescence and changes as a man, and has to have a model in terms of how to lead. And
absolutely. Yeah. And even just being a male, it's like this, it's not too dissimilar when you're a woman with a son, and then it's like, the same way, how men and women argue really differently, yeah. Right? So I'm trying to like talk to my son and I'm just being a woman, and he's like, oh, mum, and I'm going, see, guys are so different. Whereas a male understands that and they can go and talk when the time's right and, a few words and just do that guy thing, and that's, it's just how it is. And same with females and their daughters, I don't have a daughter, but I got, friends with daughters and I've got nieces and, we can talk to each other in a different way. Yeah. That a daughter or a niece is going to talk to her dad or her uncle or even her brothers, So yeah, I do really firmly believe in those roles, but that's just me.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. There's some really good insights. Teuila, obviously it's kind of like a pandemic now in terms of absent fathers who are not there. Because of whatever reason as to why they're not there, but also just fathers who are there but still not present, and all that kind of stuff. And I totally agree. There needs to be a man or a good role model, a positive role model as a man, someone who's strong and so forth, who some good values. But in terms of the climate today, in this day and age, what are your views? And you're probably seeing, because I'm assuming you're still single. No?
Oh, forever.
Yeah. Forever. But it'd be interesting to get your insights in terms of the men right now. What are you seeing in terms of men? Are men? Is there like a man's man, or men that kind of, I don't know? Is there more emasculate, or are they kind of what are you gauging right now in terms of our men, and also Polynesian men, Pacifica men?
Oh, I'm going to tread very carefully.
Be brutally honest. Be brutally
Yeah.
honest.
You know, I think it's difficult for men right now. I really do. I think we've always needed equality, you know, in certain areas, especially, you know, pay, because the majority of women in the workforce now. Oh man, if I had the choice, I wouldn't work at all. Just saying. But it's difficult because there's always been a lot of pressure on men in society. You know, this is what we have to look at. And I even think, you know, historically, whether we're in Samoa and, you know, it's the men that are, you know, I was talking about before paddling the va'a, you know, but we're talking from Southeast Asia across the whole of Polynesia. You know, that this is what men had to do at that point. And then you look at men, before the feminist movement and women went into the workforce, you know, it has always been on men's shoulders to provide and lead. And also in things like times of war, get sent off and die in war. I mean, I have always recognised that there is a lot put on men in our society. And I know we live in a time where it's like this, oh, men are privileged, especially white men, all of that. Yes, but with great privilege comes great responsibility. And that's what is on the other side of the coin. It's like, yes. Are men privileged in society? Sure. Especially white men, because they've been running things in the West. But again, they have also had the responsibility. And in order for men to do both, they need to be strong, which is why the model of, you know, masculinity up until now has been the alpha male, which I would say is kind of dissipating in this, you know, time. I can't really be a judge on that, on what that is or why that is, but I am recognizing it. And you recognize it too, because when you go back to Samoa, I was just there last month, and, you know, and far out, the boys still walk around like, you know, there's just natural sort of masculinity because they have so much responsibility. You know, my family, we have our homestead in the plantation, and the boys that work the plantation, you know, they're working all day, like they're carrying things on their back. You see it when they walk. That's a strong man. They're doing, you know, the back-breaking work. They're providing for their families in every way that they can. And, you know, we are a very traditional people in that sense that, you know, our men are the leaders. But that was because we lived on islands, and they have to, you know, when we come from indigenous cultures, that there are very real reasons why this is the makeup of our structures. But again, I don't think there's anything wrong with men being powerful, being strong, being masculine, as long as it's not toxic. And I think that's, as long as men understand what that is, please continue to be strong, please continue to be leaders, please continue to be the head of the family, and to look after and nurture your wife, and to look after your children, and provide for everybody, and be the protector. And then, you know, on the other way, you know, a woman's places to, you know, support her man, be a soft place to fall, the same way for the children. I just think this is what makes a healthy society, and our people have always been like this, and actually still are. So it gets different when we're here in the West and other places, but I don't think there's anything wrong with us as Pacific Islanders sticking to the structures that work for us. And if you're a Pacific Islander out there that you've evolved to a point where this is all just old-fashioned and you don't want a bar of it, awesome. You don't have to be like this either. But I do believe in strong men. I think strong men are important, very important.
Oh, wow. Man, good answer. Get away. Answer, number one. But in terms of Teuila, because obviously I'm assuming you're quite concerned, it could be, you're highly concerned in terms of our men. Obviously, you've seen some stuff. It's more so our younger men or our younger boys. Is it quite concerning for you to kind of see that, hey, we could very well be going on the verge of, you know, no longer having strong men in the household? What are your thoughts? Are you seeing that? Are you obviously you're probably concerned as to what, like, man, obviously for your son as well, like, you know, it could very well turn to.
I think we're in a time of transition. You know, and look, society evolves at all points, at all times, and it's always going to. And so and like with evolution, like when anything, you know, whether you look at it from a biological point of view or a scientific point of view, when anything evolves because of the conditions, by law of existence, something will happen to balance that out to ensure the continuation of whatever the living thing that is evolving, whether it be culture, whether it be humanity, whatever. So what is happening is, because we're seeing, you know, not all, but, you know, a bit of a percentage of men maybe not being as, you know, strong or masculine, women are evolving the other way. Women are becoming strong. Women are becoming very, what one would say, you know, taking on masculine traits. Like I think a lot of people think that of me, but mine never happened by choice. Mine happened by necessity. And I have always been very aware that, yeah, I live a really masculine life in a lot of ways. Like, being a provider, all those things, being, you know, the buck stops here. I am the head of my household. I always have been. So this is happening, you know, and is this a good thing, a bad thing? I don't know. If that makes the women out there who are doing this happy, awesome, then that's great. And as I said, we've always needed more equality, and I think the way society is going, you know, this is also a good thing. But again, it's evolution, and you make it work for you. But I will say this: if we see the traditional masculine man go, we will see a new kind of woman, and she will be the alpha. And then it'll be, oh yeah, women just have the babies and the men stay home and look after them, and the woman goes to work. I mean, this, you know, this could be what we end up with. And hey, if it's still working, and then that's great. And maybe men need a break. I don't know.
Yeah, I need a break. Nah.
Never. Oh my gosh. It's interesting. It's interesting.
It's good. It's a good talanoa. I think it's one we usually don't have in the Pacific community. And I think my biggest critique of like what's been, you know, the rhetoric out there in terms of men leading, and then, you know, the feminist movement, like, men, a woman, you can be all you can be, and you can be the provider. That's great. Like, but it sort of devalues our Pacifica woman, who we know as a community that they're the backbone of our family. They're the ones that, yeah, we may lead, but whatever they say, you know, and you know that term whaletua, like you got the main house in Samoa, you got the house at the back. They have all the men have the meeting, but it's the women that are making the decisions. They're the ones who sit, you know, the men sit at the back and they're hearing, and so like we in the society today, we don't really lift that up or value that, because we almost demonize them, like, oh, you shouldn't be at home. Like, but you know, every family's different, every situation is different. Whatever works for your family, everyone is valued.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, my auntie always had a good saying, excuse me. She said, the man is the head of the household, but the woman is the neck. Yeah. She turns the head, all right? Because, you know, head is useless without the neck, and that's exactly what it is, because that's the thing, you know. I mean, and I was raised a Mormon as well, you know, and proper, you know, like my family is like proper LDS, you know. And so I guess I have been raised with these values, you know, because men also, you know, they seek counsel from their wives. You know, and men do. Men do. You find comfort in your wives nurturing your partner. You know, it's a beautiful symbiosis. It's a beautiful partnership. And like I said, if those traditional sort of roles don't work for you and you don't want to adhere to them, amazing. But if you do, then again, don't be ashamed of keeping it traditional. That's all right too. Well, you know, different strokes for different folks. And I think that's what the issue is today, is we don't respect people's autonomy just to be who they want to be, how they want to be. You know, on one hand, we're saying that about certain groups, like, oh, you got to let them be. No, that goes for everybody. Yeah. That goes for everyone, you know? And so I was just like, for me, as long as it works for you, it works for you.
Yeah, I like that. And it is. I think there should be a place where we agree to disagree.
100%.
And still be friends. You know, in this day and age, people are like, oh, this is my opinion. They share their opinion. And if your opinion is different from theirs,
So quick to cancel.
how dare you? You're the problem now. And so I think it's important for us to agree to disagree and still be friends.
Oh my
And
goodness.
still be civil towards each other. But in this day and age, if you disagree, oh man, you get cut out the knees.
Truly. This is another very, very big concern of mine. And again, I'm just, observation. But it really surprises me today what people have as deal breakers, like, oh, you vote for blah, blah, blah. Well, can you please unfriend me? And it's like, what?
Do we have the same friends? Do we have the same friends?
It's like, really? That is your freaking deal breaker? Like, well, if they vote for this political party, that is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard. I talk about my Mormon family. A lot of them, the majority of my family live in the States. And I just find, observing their political, situation with interest. I got a lot of family. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get canceled. I'll say it like this. I got a lot of family that are Republicans. 100%, and then people are like, they'll say, oh, that makes you racist. What? No, it just means you vote for Republicans. That's all it means. We got to stop adding what we think this means. Yeah. Oh, if you vote, so we have it here with the new government and Labour. It's like, who cares? The last time we had a vote, the Labour Party got in. This time we had a vote, these guys got in. At some point, someone's not going to be happy. But again, just get on with it. I don't know why we make this mean so much. If you don't like it, then vote next time. Mm. It's just, I don't know. I don't know why.
Do something about it.
And the thing is, we're not living in a time where no matter who is in government, we can't do what we want to do. What is really limiting you, the government or yourself?
Yeah, no, that's good.
It's like, or what you want it to believe, what you what you want to believe that means. When really you just get up, the sun rises. At the end of the day, the sun sets. Doesn't matter who the government is.
Yeah, I think our people's given the government too much power.
Word.
And so we need to take that power back because we stand on shoulders of giants that have fought for. Some of the privileges we're living now. And so it's so refreshing to hear what you're saying because that's what our people need. It's like, man, who cares? Let's get on with it.
Truly.
Let's make a difference.
Absolutely. Because you can always make a difference. And I mean, I'm like, just pick up a history book. If you go and look at, the time of apartheid in South Africa and Nelson Mandela and even look at the journey of him and his wife at the time and what they went through, it's like, guys, is that what is happening right now? No. So we need to always remember, like I said, like, no matter who the government is, we're still getting up tomorrow and going to work. We're still getting up and doing what we're going to do. Kids are going to go to school. It's just, we got to stop making it mean so much. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can be not happy about and that you can protest against those policies and things like that, but you still got to live.
Yeah,
so good.
Absolutely right.
See, told you. What did you vote for him for?
He's the uso, man. But no, you're right. You're absolutely right. Teuila, I think we get so hung up on just the real minute things, real trivial stuff, and then we kind of blow it out of proportion, and then all of a sudden, oh, I don't like this person. I don't like this person. I can't associate with this person. I can't hang out with this person. And when you look at it, the scope of things, like, my gosh, it's so trivial. What are we doing? And then we end up causing more of a division and more havoc for ourselves and for people around us. And so in terms of our men, like in terms of standing up and being strong, but also just being able to say, hey, it's all good. You can agree to this, I can disagree and so forth, but we're still mates and we can still get along with each other. And why is it? And yeah, because especially in the industry you're in terms of, you might have some disagreements and all that kind of stuff with certain individuals. But for the most part, I can guarantee you guys still get together and go, hey, we disagree, but let's agree, and then we just get on with it.
totally. You know, I think it's actually indicative of a level of privilege that if your biggest issue with someone is who they voted for, wow, what a great time you're living in then. You know, like we are. That's the other thing too. It's like we are so privileged. We basically have a generation of leisure. You know, we have never had to not work so hard than we do now. We are the leisure generation. And if you're not looking around and realizing that, it's like, hello, everyone. It's like, you're on your phones half the time. You know, like this is indicative of a generation who is privileged. This is all privilege. And we are not looking at how privileged we are. We're the most privileged we have ever been.
Oh, man. I just had these thoughts in my head. You need to be running your own show. Like straight talk of Teuila.
Welcome to Teuila Blakely.
Yeah, and I still find that amazing because you went into an industry that were probably male dominated and not, you know, you're a triple minority, young woman, Pasifika, and you're from the west side and you would have had it tough, but you fought through it.
Had to. I'll share one story because I was going to say, don't go too deep.
Yeah.
But this is purely for an example.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
So when I first started out, I was actually in those spaces quite often the only Pasifika female. And again, I was young and a single mum, but it was like this, you know, these are the days where people still openly called us freshies. Like even in those television spaces, you know, and I remember one night on Freestyle and I'd invited some of the Pacific Island warriors to come on the show. And then we were doing our debrief the following week, you know, this is just on TV and that. And then someone goes, they were just a bunch of freshies, you know. And that cut me so deeply because it took me back to school and all the trauma of the race, but also the disrespect.
Yeah.
The disrespect. You know, when these people are so much more talented and are doing so much more and actually earn more than you, and I don't even know what you're talking about, not sure. But, you know, if you go and react to something like that, then you're never going to continue, you know, that what you are there to do, and that's to open the door, that's to make a platform exist that doesn't exist. And if you are going to let some ignorant comments like that and attitudes, because they really believe this. That's the other thing too. They say it because that's how they think. But you can't get affected by that kind of ignorance, you know. And so I remember I was so mad. It made me so mad. And, you know, dealt with it in the professional way that you should, even though the psalm wanted me.
The rage. You know, I'm still a homegirl at the end of the day. Even now I have to work on it. But you know what I'm saying? But that's why I say, because yes, things are hard, especially when you're going into spaces that you know, people like us have not been in before. And it's never not going to be hard. It's never not going to be hard to go further. But you just can't get tripped up by these trivial things when you can handle it. You can handle it.
Oh, man. I find that, because it's so tough, eh? Like, because I've grown up in a time, like, you know, where you walk into a space and you get treated different and get, bloody freshy, and you get judged by your clothes. But I find it really hard to react in a positive way. It's like, you know, because we got great people before us that be like, no, you fight for who you are, you belong there. And then sometimes our message comes across wrong because of the way we've reacted, and then the reaction's always like, oh, you see, typical islanders always complaining. But it's encouraging what you're sharing. Like, we got to react in a different way, because man, there are people that we've got a generation behind us, but I find that really, really tough. But
it is tough. It is tough.
Yeah.
You know, but I you know, because I grew up a long time ago, I remember reading something that Sammy Davis Jr. talked about when he was the only black member of, you know, the Rat Pack, you know, with, you know, Frank Sinatra. I mean, I know I'm going back to the olden days for all the people out there like, wow, this is going back. But, you know, I just pick up these sort of things that influence me, you know, along my journey. I mean, this isn't the time where it was still segregation in the United States, you know, and a lot of the time they were performing and he had to go through the side door. But do you think that stopped him from getting on that stage and performing? And because if he had gone, I'm not going to go through the side door if I can't, you know, then that wouldn't have happened at a time that needed to happen, you know. So I don't know. I just think, yeah, it's always going to be hard. Whatever you want to do is always going to be hard. So, you know, just don't let that ever deter you. Yeah. Nothing worth having comes easy.
Like you said, I like how you said before, prior, obviously sometimes we can react, but it's how we respond.
Totally.
And so, and they're probably looking to trip you up and say, oh, okay, if you, whatever snarky remark, whatever they might say, or they're probably waiting for you to react. And, but when you don't give them the luxury of reacting that way, and you respond in a totally different way, like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh wow! And it sits them back like, oh well, okay, I wasn't expecting that. And so you're right. We have to be smarter. We have to be, I guess, a few steps ahead of the game.
Well, you know what it is too. It's like this: if people generalize about a culture, then be the one that shows them how wrong they are. Mm. You know, if you've got the opportunity to be that person, it's a moment of teaching. You know, teach.
Yeah. Is that good?
Nice.
Is that good? No,
man,
no.
I'm empowered, man.
You're just convicting me now.
Yeah.
You're
just want to apologize.
You should have said that last week.
Everyone I've sworn at and nah.
But don't get me wrong. I mean, you know, I have definitely, you know, reacted like that, but more so probably in the personal aspects of my life. I find it really difficult to not react to when I get like online hate. Yeah. But I tell you what, most especially from my own people. Oh, yeah, because I tell you why. Because I was always raised, but again in a different time, where we were such a minority, we looked at each other like we're all one. You know, and we didn't have the luxury of putting each other down. And again, that to me is indicative of how privileged this generation has become. If you are so privileged right now that you can look at another Samoan, another Pacific Islander and put them down, well, you are really lucky. Because in our day, things were so bad to all of us, nobody had a moment to put each other down. You know, because we're just trying to all make it. I think it's the most ridiculous thing on earth. Look, we don't all have to be friends. We don't have to all like each other, or even we don't even have to like what each other does. But we have no excuse ever to ever disrespect any one of us. Not from us. Not from us. You can leave that to other people. You know, it's another thing too. Don't come and complain to me about racism when you don't even respect your fellow Pacific Islander brother and sister. So you ask a whole other race to respect us when we can't even respect each other. Are you out of your mind? That's why I'm like, all we do is weaken our position. You know what white people are really, really good at and why they have ruled the West and why they came and colonized all of us? Because they are really good at sticking together. You know, you see, I'll tell you this. You see a white person arguing, it doesn't matter what the argument is about, if they're in the wrong or not. Another white person sees them, they're right up there. Hey, what's going on here? You know, like they have their backs. They don't have to know anything about each other to have their backs. What's wrong with us? Why are we not doing that when we are such a minority? The easiest thing we can do is love each other. And we're not doing that.
Yeah, why is that the case? Because we can be so divisive against our own kind.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right in terms of the minority. We're a minority, and yet we would still stab each other in the back.
Truly. Put each other down.
Yeah, put each other down. And you go, oh, yeah. And the saddest thing about it, Teuila, is like, oh, man, awesome, man, love you. In terms of, face to face. But once they got, you know, kumumu and all that stuff, and then I don't get that. I really don't get that, Teuila. I don't understand that in terms of why we do that to each other.
Truly.
And it's so divisive, and it's just it really just kills the growth in terms of our people, and in terms of, I don't know, maybe the system. Obviously, the system has something to do with it as well. But just for us to kind of kill each other and just kind of tear each other down, that's just terrible.
Truly.
Terrible. And And the hope is that the words that you're saying, that people would listen and say, "Hey, man, maybe and there's a lot of truth in what you're saying."
I've loved what you said. So I don't think I've heard it before. Like, man, we're so, but during that time that you only had each other, because there was so much hate, so much pressure on you. There was no time to be putting each other down. But now, if someone a prominent figure does something wrong, so quick to be like, man,
Totally.
look at this person, and it's coming from our own people. And that's what many of our other guests have said. Like,
Totally.
when I remember also Justin Taffa, his first fight in the UFC, he lost, but in his DMs, it was all the Islanders who go, "Oh, you made us look ugly, what a disgrace." And yet when he's winning, they're the first ones to be cheering him on.
Totally.
So sad.
I just think as a rule, we should just never put each other down. I think that should just be like, as Pacific Islanders, that's why we have terms like uso and tuanane and toko and all of that. Yeah, you say that. Well, be it.
Yeah.
Be it. Like, because it has meaning. And I tell you, there is so much strength in unity. And there are so few of us. If we were united, we would be so much more powerful than what we are currently.
Preach it, Teuila.
Man, I feel like running through a wall now.
for a straw. But you don't mind if we write it back Teuila, because it'd be nice to kind of, obviously you said singlehood. You said that you're the head of the family, and it's sad, but obviously by default.
Yes.
And so you've had to be the father and the mother. In terms of singlehood, I don't know. I hope you don't mind us kind of delving into it. In terms of singlehood, is there? Because I know probably over a decade now, or over a decade.
20.
Oh wow.
22 years.
And so
I've been single since my son was 10.
Wow.
And he's going to be 32 in March.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a long time.
No, we could have.
Thanks for bringing that up, Pete.
Sorry.
No, she's living her best life, man.
But yeah, I got a point to this, but because is there? I don't know. Maybe in the cards in the future, whatever. And I love what you're saying about the men and all that, and being a traditionalist. Is there? And you said the buck stops here with you. Is there? I don't know. In the future, is there someone, or is there already in the picture right now? That
I think he's studying at Ma'alua, eh? Sorry.
I don't be surprised. It's just
no. I do think of this. Because I don't think I went out of my way to be single. Certainly, for a time, it was a conscious decision. Because I was just focused on my son and my career, and that's all I really had time for. But I do believe it is natural for us as human beings, truly, to be with. We want companionship. I really do believe that's our natural state. I also believe, and this is just me in general. Obviously, what I've had to learn, I had to do it single for now. And I've always thought this, if it's meant for me, 100% it will be, 100%. I have no doubt. I'm going, wow, I didn't think it would take this long. but at the same time, I know that can only be for my higher good, for my highest good. I really do believe that. I believe anything that is happening for me is for my highest good. And I believe if somebody was meant to be with me on this journey, say these past 22 years that I've been officially single, they would have been there. Obviously, that wasn't how it was supposed to be. And again, if he's out there, I'm sure we'll just find each other.
Yeah.
He's going to walk out like this.
Oh, wow.
Or not.
Yeah.
Or not.
But you're content.
I'm content. I am content. And I truly believe that is what everybody should truly strive for, because success is relative. Everybody's got their own definition or version of what success is or looks like. But I promise you this, the truest success in life is contentment. It's not how your life looks, it's how your life feels. And I promise you this, I mean, I've worked hard for what I have, but I get into bed every night and I'm very happy because I know how blessed I am. I know it without a doubt. And I wake up every morning and go, oh yeah, woke up this morning, got another day. You know, it's, you know, I am very, very aware of how blessed I am, even though I sleep alone.
Sleeping with someone's overrated. You gotta share the bed. There's another, the other person snoring and
I agree.
Their legs and sorry. And Pete sleeps on the couch most of the time, so it's all right.
This is my healthy couch right here. But
not by choice, but
but you know what's gonna happen now, Teuila? Obviously, men, I can guarantee you now, many are watching this, and the viewers, hey,
DM us, guys. We're gonna get some.
You know what's gonna happen?
No, we'll do the Psalm 1 Bachelorette. Nah, we won't do that. No.
Well,
you've been asked.
They did talk to me about it one time.
Wow.
They did. At that time, it certainly wasn't what I would have done at that time. And I don't know if I ever would, but if they did, I would have a proviso and it would be, you better get those contestants from overseas. Because I have been in this country single and... You know,
I mean that's the problem is because these men are here.
Truly.
Oh my goodness!
Justice. But I just love it. Like there's so much pressure to be in a relationship, and we're always, we see people always trying to chase it, and they feel like you need someone else to complete you, and
or to validate you. All those things,
and there's a lot of individuals that I really look up to, and I've had mentors that taught me if you're not content in your singleness and who you are, someone that comes to you, they're not gonna ever complete you. And so when you are content and someone does come to you, they're only gonna compliment you. And
that's it.
Yeah. So the king that's waiting on the sidelines. When he's ready, he's gonna come and treat you like a queen. And
God bless you. God bless you. Amen.
Me and Lani will be praying every night.
I know, because I always thought it was going to be The Rock, and then he got married, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's not The Rock.
He's a sad dude.
He won't have any time for you because that guy.
Yeah, for real.
Love you, The Rock. Love you, Uncle.
Yeah. Love you. Available for your next series, movie. I could play your wife. I'll play your wife.
Oh my goodness. But do you have you don't have a list? Because some people have lists like this is what I require. This is how they should be. This is
what are your green flags and your red flags?
Oh, great question.
Have to be from overseas.
Yeah, first of all, overseas. Well, okay. I'm like, gosh, we are getting personal. I'm like, oh, you might just have this way. No, well, I tell you what, and this is why some of my Palangi girlfriends have said, this is why you're single. Because I've only dated Pacific Island men my whole life.
Red flag.
Is it red? Oh, come on, Teuila, can't be a red flag.
It's just the tongue, isn't it? Joke. I was like the red flag. It was a joke. Yeah. I love my Tongas. I love my. No one even
I thought we didn't stay together. We didn't be together.
No. It was just a joke. It's a joke. But so I do wonder this, if maybe I should try dating outside of. I don't know. Maybe
the Pacific.
Maybe I'll, go further. I don't know. Maybe, again, I don't know. But red flags for me, for sure. I can tell if someone's cruel. And I know this from being with people who were cruel. And so that made me a little bit emotional. I'm glad I know that now. because, you know, men can be charming, especially the cruel ones, you know, and I see right through that now. So I can tell if you've got the capacity to be cruel, 100%. That's my biggest, I will run the opposite direction. So yes, kindness is very, very important to me.
Nice. Well, you got to be Italian. You got to be kind. Ti amo. I said it wrong. Sorry. That's why I like try these.
I think it's te quiero mucho, mi amor.
Charming guy.
Beautiful.
He's always on the couch.
But is that it? Teuila, just the two,
kind,
just kind and
No, I mean, those are definitely attributes. But I've always looked at it like this, like what I've been able to do in my singledom is I really know myself. You know, I really know who I am. Like, and I think it's been a privilege to have that time to understand that about myself and who I am. And so I would recognize that in another. And I feel that whoever that is would recognize that in me too. And then, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a massive encouragement, like knowing who we are completely. And 'cause sometimes we don't sit and just reflect and assess because we're so keen to want something and feel like we need something to complete us. And I love what you're saying. Like, if you know who you are, then you can see how authentic people are and if they're not. And so
Totally. And that's what I think, because I really don't like Tinder and things like that. I mean, I would never anyway, but I know a lot of people on it, and I always openly discourage them because it's easy to manufacture a relationship when you both turn up at this thing saying, hey, I'm looking for a relationship. Then you're literally, you know, going to put someone into what you already decided you wanted, not necessarily being the right person for that position, for that privilege, you know, because, and I just think, yeah, people sort of decide they want a relationship before they meet the person they should have a relationship with.
oh wow.
yeah, no, we gotta
my
push for
goodness,
this
my
Teuila
goodness,
talk
my
show.
goodness,
Teuila's talk show.
Teuila, you need
Tala no with Teuila.
you need to talk to some of my you need to talk to some of my girlfriends, like in terms of like, because
It's gonna get cancelled. Your wife's friends are gonna hate you now. Whatever you're gonna say,
yeah, maybe I shouldn't. Yeah, but you know what? Since
be scared, be strong.
Since you're being honest, and you're kind of. But it is. I think that I know some people who have lists and say this and this. I want this and that. But you're right in terms of they may have this specific list for this individual, but in terms of are they the right person for that person? You know, people are like, okay, I have this list, and then that person might go, oh no, well you don't meet the requirements, you don't meet my list, and so we get so caught up with this is who I want and all that, without kind of looking at ourselves and say, hey, I need to be comfortable and content with who I am. And I love everything you said tonight in terms of manhood, singlehood, and also sonship and all that kind of, you know, your son and so forth, and also in terms of us as a people. I love it. It's been very, very refreshing because you know what, to be honest, all honesty, to realize, I didn't. You know, maybe it's just I'm not judging it, but I didn't get to. You know, on TV, you're this person, you're this individual. But I thought, wow. But I never thought, wow, you were this kind of, you know, just in a good sense. You're a real deep thinker. You come with a lot of wisdom and a lot of experience. It's refreshing to sit with the actual person,
Thank you so
with
much.
yourself, and say, wow, man, this is you're obviously you're a celebrity, but you're just a person, and you come with all this wealth of experience, and it's not just because you must meet people, other actors, other celebrities, and get to meet them. You're so excited to see them, and they're quite shallow. You know, this is not the person I expected to be, but you're the total opposite. Yeah, you come with a lot of depth and a lot of wisdom, and so it's been quite refreshing and amazing.
I really want you to do like Tala no with Teuila or something like that, because
maybe we can, you know, figure it out.
Let's go, Teuila. Yeah.
So refreshing for our people. Like, it's
you.
countercultural to what we're hearing now.
Yeah.
And so you imagine if we got this different voice that's speaking straight to Alanoa and then giving our youngins these tools that are traditional and yet still relevant for today. You imagine that. It would be so powerful. Like, I'm really encouraged. Like, oh my gosh.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I really, truly take my hat off to you guys for facilitating this resource for your audience, for our people. That's why when you asked me and I'd seen all the people that have come on it, thank you, because if you're not doing it, these kind of things don't happen, and these conversations are so vital in this day and age. And when I started out, you know, I used to do talkback radio for Pacific Island girls because there was nothing, and that's what I see you guys are doing here. You know, our men have always needed a voice. You know, I think one of the things what's great about what's happening now is we do understand that men need to be given the spaces in order to feel, in order to be vulnerable, in order to have the conversations that you want to have, you know, without us women in there telling you what to do, just being men, you know. So I thank you for inviting me to this space. And, you know, I was nervous, but I've had such a great time. Hey, Leilani, it's like, man, this is just like me and my girls get together.
It is.
Thank you so much.
I apologize because Pete's goal was probably to make you gongi, but I was like, no. Nah, it's just, but it's just, just thank you so much for
thank you.
being
Thank
here.
you.
Like, we're so privileged, and
I'm privileged. Thank
and
you
I'm
so much.
honored to hear the talanoa and what, you know, your story, and sharing little snippets of your journey, and we can only hope for the best for you. And we'll, you know, you got brothers here now that will pray from the south side in terms of what's next for you and all your future projects, and you can go rewrite that project. You got to put in 2 extra Polynesian men
I'm
into
thinking this now, actually.
but I just, for father of a daughter, Pacifica daughter that's trying to navigate this world, I always feel privileged when I hear strong wahine, like leading the way. And also, and so I always think, hopefully my daughter gets to watch this, but look up to pillars like you. And so thank you so much, sis.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, it has been. It's been a real privilege and a pleasure, Teuila. It has been. Just everything you've said, obviously we in terms of in agreement, I like what you said, and it's all on point. And the courage to say it. I think obviously people, and we just can't help. Other people are going to have different thoughts, different viewpoints and opinions, and you're probably going to get the trolls and all that kind of stuff. And you sort of and I love it that you just kind of like a water of a duck's back.
Well, sometimes I clap back. I've really got to get out of that.
Clap back. And the worst ones are the ones that comment and they have no followers, or they got they're using fake profile pics, and I was like, But these guys have banned me from our social media because I'm the guy who'll go, oh, where do you live? Meet me over here, and I'll say some stupid stuff. And
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. The ones that really freak me out are the ones that are there like with their kids in the profile picture, and I'm like looking at them. They look like really nice ladies, and then you go to their page and they're like got all these inspirational quotes, and then I'm looking at what they wrote, and I'm going,
But mismatch, mismatch.
You know, but you know, it is what it is. So again, thank you. And I do get nervous because I know that, you know, even when I do not try, I get a lot of, I don't know what you'd call it, reaction. Yeah. But that's all right.
Yeah, that's cool. But I do have one more question.
Yes.
Teuila, in terms of your son, obviously he's in his 30s now. What's the hope? Obviously, you have this.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's the hope for him as a man, as being a man now, and just what do you endeavour for him to do and to see him in terms of being his best version of who he is as a man? What's the hope for you as a mother?
Yeah, thank you. All any parent wants. And I'm the same as any parent. Is we just want our children to be happy and healthy, and whatever that looks like for him is what I want.
that's awesome.
Mahalo, number sweet for.
Thank you.
Tell you what, because I know you're pressed for time. I know you got to go somewhere else as well.
Got some events to attend.
The events.
If I make it.
If you make it. But no, it has been, like I said, I think all the best with your future endeavours
Oh my
and
goodness,
the projects.
thank you. Likewise.
Yeah,
Keep
just
doing what you do.
thank you
It's
so
really
much.
important.
And shout out to Lani as well. Thank you, Lani,
Yes, my also.
for joining us this evening. And so,
Our podcast chaplain.
yeah. There you go. But every guest that comes on, we always give them a gift. Me alofa. And so we always give them a caricature or cartoon of how we envision them to be. And so on behalf of the Mandate team, on behalf of Charles, Brad, and myself, this is for you.
Oh, wow. I wasn't expecting anything.
Cool.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness, guys.
Well, you gotta look at it
I
first.
saw it. Wow. Oh, wow. That's beautiful. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. That's going to go up in my house.
Oh no, thank you,
Wow,
thank you for your time. I know we know you're very busy, but thank you for making time for us. We really appreciate
My
it.
pleasure, truly. This has been awesome. This has been so awesome.
Awesome. But we do have, we always ask our guests, is there anyone in particular, anyone that you can think of on top of your head, that do you think that would be ideal to come on the podcast? It would be brilliant to come on, to have a conversation with Talanoa.
Well, of course, I'm going to say Oscar. He just won the Legend of Television Award, so he's got a lot to come, speak about. He's been incredible,
Oh,
Cool.
awesome.
We'll reach out to
Yeah.
Oscar.
We'll hit him up,
Yeah, I'll put in a good word.
Oh, awesome. Thanks to Willa. Yeah, appreciate that. But yeah, we always give our guests the last words of encouragement.
Oh, my goodness.
To our men, to anyone who's listening, to our viewers, any words of encouragement.
Oh, yeah. You know what, everybody? Just love yourself. Love yourself as much as you possibly can. I really believe that is the key to the world, to world peace. Just love yourself, and then love everyone around you. And that's all you actually need to do. That's all any of us actually need to do.
Thank you once again, Teuila Blakely.
Thank you.
So please don't forget to like and subscribe and to comment. We look forward to your wealth and our comments. And as usual, also,
Refine
unlock
and take charge.
Mandate.